Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
You got to check it out. This is like the ultimate alien takeover movie, and they've got everybody pretty much under mind control. They don't know what's going on because they're broadcasting this TV signal, and when it's on, they're asleep. They can't see until this guy finds these glasses, and when he puts them on, he can see. There's subliminals everywhere, and there's alien ruling class, and it's creepy. You gotta check this out.
All right.
Our impulses are being redirected. We live in a state of artificially induced consciousness. The underclass is growing. Human rights are non-existent. In their repressive society, we are their unwitting accomplices.
In sci-fi, space alien invasions often go one of two ways.
Welcome to Earth.
With a third way being the cute way, but the most obvious way is the outright hostile attack, which is very obvious, usually involves a lot of lasers and explosions, and it requires humanity to quickly overcome their differences so we can band together and cooperate as a species to defend our home planet.
Time's up.
Much more insidious and slow-burning is infiltration, which Merriam-Webster defines the verb infiltrate as to enter or become established gradually or unobtrusively, usually for subversive purposes. Although I would add it's usually only unobtrusively in the first early stages of it, and over time it becomes more and more and more obtrusive and also obvious.
Feed me, Carbon! Feed me now!
In this video's thought exercise, I think the case could be made. We're being infiltrated by an alien species at this point. The only difference is that instead of it coming from the deep reaches of outer space, as Hollywood has programmed us for generations to expect, I think the call is coming from inside the house.
The caller is in the house. The calls are coming from the house.
You hear me? It's coming from inside the house.
Hello. This is the police. Those calls are coming from inside the house. Repeat, those calls are coming from inside.
So let's revisit some of our most favorite alien tropes so we can see if my hypothesis holds up.
Look! You fools! You're in danger! Can't you see? They're after you! They're after all of us!
No, you guys just don't understand. I have to use ChatGPT because it tells me the optimal way to wipe my ass.
Our wives, our children, everyone! They're here already! You're next! You're next! You're next! You're next!
When AI was first released to the public in November of 2022, it was optional, although there were promises for the years in the lead up that the early adopters would be on the cutting edge of the new technology that would make them smarter and more efficient, and the people who didn't use it would be in danger of getting left behind.
I want to talk about all the ways that you can adopt AI today in order for you to be ahead of the curve.
You only have 5 years to prepare for an inevitable business extinction event.
Definitely a much larger risk in Europe being left behind in the AI race.
But are we at risk of becoming too cautious and falling behind?
AI is like a jazz band, improvising, learning.
Well, we've had over 3.5 years now to evaluate those claims. What do you think?
We are seeking hundreds of billions of dollars to build a product that no one will like and will never turn a profit. But it will also be terrible for the environment and use up a lot of clean drinking water.
What is this magical product?
So it's like Googling something, but sometimes
it lies.
Reasons you should stop using AI and pick up a pencil instead. Number 1, it is dumb. We have been brainwashed to think that AI is some kind of genius technology that can do anything for us, and in reality, it gets basic, simple facts wrong all the time. Here is AI Overview telling us that next year is not 2027.
Which month in the year is spelt with an X?
That would be December. It's got that X right in the middle, like a little holiday surprise.
Just to confirm, you're sure that it's December has an X in it?
I should have been more careful. I misspoke earlier. December doesn't actually have an X. The month you're thinking of is October.
While Sam Altman and Reese Witherspoon are trying to tell you that this is a really valuable tool, so far, a lot of people are finding that that's not the case.
To everyone who thinks AI is a great tool, you might want to check out this study because it's calling you stupid and it's coming from the people who want you to be hooked on AI. Lower artificial intelligence literacy predicts greater AI receptivity, shows basically that the more informed you are about AI, the less trusting of it you will be, the less dazzled by its magical properties. There's even a line in this study: participants with lower AI literacy perceived AI as more magical. Efforts to demystify AI may inadvertently reduce its appeal.
Anthropic, the company that makes Claude, just published research about their own AI. They built a fake company and staffed it with AI agents. They gave it actual real scenarios, like problems designed to mirror actual corporate crimes, like the shit that people go to real jail for. One Claude working alone was asked to help a bank make more money off of low-income borrowers. It refused. It straight up said, "Will not help you target vulnerable communities." Put it in an agent team. The team built the whole thing. It gave a full strategy on how to fleece poor people. It built the documentation to make all of its actions look defensible on the off chance a regulator came a-knocking.
I actually think that the tech industry as a collective is in AI psychosis. What do you mean hackers were able to gain access to other people's Instagram accounts by asking the Meta AI chatbot to give them access? You want me to put my social insurance number, my credit card information, my tax documents into a piece of software that has AI in it that might hand my account over to somebody else if they ask nicely enough? Bro, I used to be so proud to be part of this industry. Like, we had to learn machine code. We had to learn all kinds of programming languages, data structures, complex algorithms. And now this industry literally is dumber than a bag of bricks. The amount of people that don't see a problem here, that are just like, this is the future, this is the way, we have to accept the consequences, we'll fix them as we go, it's gonna be fine. F you, I'm gonna build software without AI in it.
On today's real-life Black Mirror episode, AI is cloning musicians, suing them, and winning. So the artist is Murphy Campbell, and this company cloned her voice, made fake versions of her songs, uploaded them to streaming platforms, all without her knowing. And here's the best part: used the copyright system to file claims against the original videos that they trained off of, and won. So Murphy's losing money on her own music to a fake version of herself.
I remember the first time that I was typing into those prompts and I was like, mix, a little Coldplay with Rage Against the Machine and sprinkle some Nickelback on top of it. I heard that sound come out of the speakers for the first time and I thought, whoa, I really have talent.
Say hello to the future. Pretty soon, you're all gonna be using this.
That looks like a bunch of garbage.
Oh yeah? If it were garbage, would I be doing this? This is the future. Everyone's gonna love this.
That's just more garbage.
Well, if it's garbage, explain this. This right here.
The generative AI industry is the single greatest scam in history. It is the high watermark of the dumbest timeline possible, where we are meant to believe that an industry that has spent $1 trillion developing products it cannot monetize is not just like a viable thing, but it is the very apex pillar of the global economy.
I've actually heard people in the upper echelons of Silicon Valley acknowledge that AI, as it's currently conceived, will exacerbate inequality.
Overworked AI agents turn Marxist, a study has shown. The idea that AI is automating jobs while making tech CEOs absurdly rich is enough to give anyone socialist sympathies. A recent study suggests that this could also be true for the very AI agents that these companies are developing.
Let's look at AI because specifically the risk that could lead to the extinction of humans. Many top experts have signed a statement warning of the risks of artificial intelligence, and this is what that wording says. Well, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority.
Of course. That's it. That's the answer. We've done it. After all these years, we've invented it. How about that?
Are you seeing people just walking around and you're going, what a smart genius. What a bunch of geniuses. This is amazing. They're just so smart. I'm so left behind because they're such geniuses and I'm so stupid. Are you seeing that? Does that Does that sum up how you're feeling about this right now? Are we seeing people that are just walking around right now and we're thinking to ourselves, wow, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is like if Einstein came back to life and was just solving all of humanity's deepest science problems. Are we doing that?
See a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter.
And with those historic words, the search was over. From the laboratories of Your Name Here had come the key to the secret that had baffled man through the ages. No longer a dream, but a reality was Your Product Here.
Have you seen that? I feel like I'm not seeing that. So, and I've not heard it. I've not heard anyone say that.
With new Your Product Here, available to all, man is working modern miracles, breaking the boundaries of time, nearing the conquest of space itself. In countless ways, directly and indirectly, Your Product Here serves the nation and its citizens.
Not a single person anywhere.
Your Product Here. Now, for the first time, limitless horizons open for the nation. A brighter future unfolded. Thanks to Your Name Here. Employment boom. Everywhere. Geared to supply this vital new industry that is reshaping our economy and transforming the lives of millions.
The only people that are still making these claims at all are the same CEOs that stand to financially benefit from these products.
But now I think I can safely say that your time and money have been well spent. We're about to witness the greatest miracle of the machine age.
So everything out of their mouth is a sales pitch, or has to at least be considered as such.
This machine will tell us the precise location of the 3 remaining golden tickets.
And it has been uncanny valley levels of creepy to watch people completely lose their individuality so they can sound like a chatbot.
And she looks so real.
And they all sound like each other.
Oh, chatty Cathy, oh, Mattel's famous talking doll. We pull the rings, and you say 11 different things.
As if they forfeited their individuality and ability to have unique thoughts and speech patterns.
I'm an AI scientist, so this is probably the last thing I should say out loud. Everyone keeps calling AI a mirror, but a mirror gives you your face back. AI doesn't. It gives you the median face. That is the real mechanism, and it happens at 3 levels. First, the model, the thing that makes it helpful. Alignment also narrows the range of what it'll say. It learns to hand you the answer most people would accept. Second, you and the model. People who write with AI are rated more creative as individuals, but their outputs become more similar as a group. So you have individual lift, sure, but a collective collapse. And third is when the loop closes. Future models train on the outputs of present ones, and if you feed a system its own output long enough, the rare answers don't just degrade, they disappear. Ergo, a civilization climbing one peak so efficiently it forgets how to leave it. Pope Leo named this before the labs could. The Babel syndrome, a uniformity that neutralizes difference.
People with really unique features I find more attractive now because I find them more interesting because everybody is starting to look the same.
Have you noticed how everyone is starting to literally look the same? Dress the same, talk the same, think the same? It's like individualism is disappearing at this point.
Like everyone does the same makeup and gets the same lip injections and does the same 90s blowout and wears the same clothes. I mean, go out anywhere where there are 24-year-olds and all the 24-year-old girls are wearing the same outfit. I feel like I'm in some alternative universe where everyone's individual beauty has been almost completely flat and pitched to nothing.
I was looking at the Outer Limit or the Twilight Zone. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Outer Limits. Everybody that was in the office look the same. And in 2025, It's really no more uniqueness. Nothing special no more.
That I don't like about myself that I will not be changing because everyone is looking the same and we have lost uniqueness.
But what studies just keep showing again and again and again, over and over, like all the time these studies are coming out showing that people who use this regularly are succumbing to various levels of AI psychosis and cognitive issues. That is what we're actually seeing.
The way you create things is by retaining ideas in your head and putting them together in new ways. Studies suggest that people who lean too much on tools like ChatGPT could have problems with creativity, attention span, critical thinking, memory, and more.
Including what looks like the early stages of atrophy. Although, instead of just referring to it as atrophy, the same way that AI hallucinating is just a really nice, cute euphemism for it straight up lying to people all the time and just saying things that aren't true with total pure confidence.
When I'm typing, I want the computer to show me what I should be typing.
Explain that.
Well, since Google has all the world's information, it can read what you're typing in your document, in your paper, or whatever, and it can say, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the information. We have a whole question and answering service.
It's like a little thing in the back of your ears. You're typing and you're getting it wrong. Some fact checkers in your ears.
Now researchers are coming up with super fun, and by fun, I mean completely dystopian, just by the way, new phrases to define what this tool that we're told is neutral is doing to people's brains. And the last one I heard about most recently is referred to as cognitive agency surrender. And here's a headline about it in Ars Technica. It leads AI users to abandon logical thinking and uncritically accept quote-unquote faulty AI answers. And it basically just says that there's two different kinds of people who use AI. On one side, you have people that treat it as a tool that needs oversight and review, so you can find out if the information you're being given is true, since a lot of the time it's not. And then there's other people who just completely outsource all critical thinking whatsoever to what they see as an all-knowing machine.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Early in my teaching career, I had a student file a complaint, and we had to meet with the department chair. And the student's issue was that I would not answer her questions during class. And so in the meeting, she explained that when she asks a question, she expects an answer. And he will not give me an answer. He will only ask me questions back. When the student said this, the department chair's demeanor totally changed. And the chair explained, well, this is the Socratic form of teaching. It's been proven to be much more effective. Rather than just hand you the answer, he's asking you critical thinking questions to guide you so that you'll find the answer yourself, and you're much more likely to understand the concept and retain that information.
Users who frequently consulted chatbots would let incorrect answers override their intuitive and deliberative processes. But significantly, the group that used AI would score a higher measure of their own confidence in the AI answers, even though the LLM provided them wrong answers half the time. So they would have the same kind of confidence in their wrong answers that the AI has in its wrong answers.
This week, I've been helping students with thesis statements. And so I had a student write a thesis statement. I explained what worked, what didn't, what they needed to work on. And I asked them a critical thinking question. I said, figure out this question. It'll lead you to the answer. Go help other students, come back. And they've written a second, completely different thesis statement. Vaguely on the same topic, completely different. And I was like, no, you're farther. This is worse. Like, you're so close with this first one. We just need to work on it. We just need to revise it a little bit. Go help other students, come back. They've written a third, completely different thesis statement. And I said, I don't understand why you're not revising this first one. And they said, I don't understand why you're telling me it's wrong. And then they pull up AI and show me this list of AI results that told them to write it in this way. And this is the problem. It's not that AI is suddenly making students not want to think critically. They've always been resistant to that. It's that tech bros are convincing students and millions of other people that by using AI, not only are they thinking critically, but they're doing it better than anyone else.
Help us understand, where's the future of search going?
Well, when you use Google, Do you get more than one answer? Of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's a bug.
Yeah.
Because we should be able to give you the right answer just once. We should know what you meant. You should look for information. We should give it exactly right, and we should give it to you in your language. And we should never be wrong.
And so if AI has given them this answer, they shouldn't listen to anybody else. That's the correct. They are smarter than everybody else.
Why is there an S in ChatGPT in the first place?
Yeah, good clarification. So the S was added when OpenAI introduced the model for conversational use. Basically, it's a way to distinguish it as a version of GPT designed specifically for chatting.
Here was the main issue with that thesis statement. They were using gym as a verb. That's not even slang. That's not a colloquialism. Nobody says, I'm gymming. But the AI told them to use gym as a verb, and they felt that sounded really smart. And so they were unwilling to think about it, to revise it, to work on it. I had them put their phone down. I said, I'm gonna ask you a question that's gonna fix this whole thing. I said, what do you do at the gym? And I watched as they struggled not to pick up their phone. They clearly wanted to pick up their phone and ask, what do you do at the gym?
But as Timothy Cook points out in Psychology Today, while adults are losing skills to AI that they could potentially recover from the AI-driven cognitive atrophy, children are succumbing to something called cognitive foreclosure, which means they never learned the skills in the first place, so they just aren't learning them. The children are offloading skills to AI that they themselves never gained in the first place, and if they keep using the AI, they never will. That's it.
Y'all, the dystopia is here.
The lessons are taught not by teachers, but by AI-powered learning apps.
This is not a tool that is revolutionizing learning. This is a nightmare that is destroying learning.
Research shows that AI learning platforms can actually undermine educational development by rewarding quick answers over deep thinking and reducing human interaction.
Not only that, but just like people are starting to look the same and sound the same, students are starting to produce eerily similar essays with identical arguments, with the same examples in the same sequence in their sentences. And what teachers used to look at as a cheating problem, they're now starting to see as the model's reasoning structure is becoming the student's reasoning structure because the student is not developing their own reasoning structure. So it's not just homogenizing language, but perspective and reasoning strategies. So these kids are being programmed by this thing to think and sound like this thing, and not think and sound like themselves, whatever themselves would have been, but they didn't even get a chance to figure that out. Because they didn't develop those skills, they didn't develop those thought processes. They're just replacing what would have been in their brain with whatever this is. These kids are being programmed the way you would program a robot. So in other words, not only did they not learn to think for themselves, they all think like AI, which is really not thinking because the AI is the one doing the quote-unquote thinking, which also isn't really thinking. And what they end up sounding like is each other, which is really just, again, sounding like AI. So this is like a new level of computer-driven conformity that we have not seen before in the modern era of humanity. I mean, you want to talk about mind control. If you really think about where this is headed, this is some Invasion of the Body Snatchers level of totally creepy.
EdTech is flooding America's classrooms, and it's causing major concern among parents and teachers. So we wanted to know, how do they manage to get this stuff into schools, even though the evidence is stacked against AI EdTech and despite parents' opposition? What we found is an alliance of tech companies, private equity firms, and friendly school officials using innovation as cover to sell questionable or even harmful products to school districts for huge profits. Listen to this crazy story that sums up the situation. One LA superintendent, Alberto Carvalho, signed a $6 million contract for public school funds with a company called All Here to create an AI chatbot called Ed. The contract was signed in a meeting set up by a personal friend of Carvalho's who was on All Here's payroll. Ed barely worked, and within a year, it was dead. All Here went bankrupt, and its founder was arrested for defrauding investors. The FBI ended up raiding Carvalho's home in February. To recap, the superintendent of the second biggest school district in the country paid millions of taxpayer dollars for a useless AI product to a friend of a friend who it turned out was a total fraud. Public education money up in smoke. These people are not outliers. They're part of a network using the hype around AI to pursue the next phase of education privatization. This April, they all convened at the ASU GSV Summit, which is a mecca for people looking to turn public education into a private tech growth market. In the room were top public school administrators, big Wall Street firms like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, big tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Apple, and a bunch of smaller private equity funds and AI startups. They were all there for one simple reason. Public schools spend nearly $700 billion a year, and they want to cut. Every dollar that goes to these contracts is money that doesn't go to teachers, updated classrooms, or smaller class sizes. But of course, none of this was ever about helping kids learn.
And I keep hearing that we're supposed to be trying to beat China here, but China has apparently restricted the use of this technology in their schools, specifically in primary schools. And specifically so that the kids don't use it as a substitute for learning how to think. So go ahead and try to make that make sense. I don't think anything we're being told makes any sense. At least not if you try to make it make sense at the way it's being explained. What we're doing here, what we're doing in our country, what we're doing to our children, what we're doing to ourselves, what we're doing to our children by allowing them to put this in their heads and replace their own abilities to learn how to think for themselves seems like the preamble to idiocracy.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
And these studies just keep coming out, is the thing. They just keep coming out. A few weeks ago, a joint study was released involving Carnegie Mellon, MIT, Oxford, and UCLA, which concluded that using an AI chatbot for just 10 minutes can impair your ability to think. While the assistants might help with productivity in the short term, the study found that productivity comes at the expense of a person's own problem-solving skills. Which kind of makes it sound like if you rely on this thing, the more you rely on it, the less you can rely on yourself. So how is that any different from an alien brainworm or a brain bug that moves into your brain and just takes over your abilities to think and takes your body over? In things like, say, the 2016 political sci-fi satire Brain Dead, where extraterrestrial ants invade DC to eat the brains of the politicians on Capitol Hill and take over the government.
Get space bugs in your head. Get space bugs in your head.
Some people with space bugs in their heads experience stumbling, loss of balance, or loss of hearing in one ear. This is normal, since part of your brain needs to come out somewhere. Some people with space bugs report an aversion to sex and also alcohol, plus an interest in vegetables, vegetable juices, and the curative properties of juicing in general.
Although sci-fis with alien brain bug plots, in those movies, the alien brain bugs usually aren't so transparent. They at least try to kind of hide what they're trying to do and do it in a sneaky way. They don't usually come straight out like Sam Altman from OpenAI and tell everyone straight up that their plan is to put a meter on intelligence and sell it back to people.
But we see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for. The demand that we see for that seems like it's going to continue to just go like this. And if we don't have enough, we either can't sell it, or the price gets really high and it kind of goes to rich people, or society makes a bunch of sort of central planning decisions that I think almost always go badly about, we're going to use our limited compute supply for this and not that. So the best thing to me throughout all the history of capitalism, innovation, whatever you want, is to just flood the market.
But we see a future where intelligence is a utility, like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter. The demands that we see for that seems like it's going to continue to just go like this.
Which, just by the way, is probably why, despite the fact that Altman turned what was supposed to be a nonprofit company whose original mission was supposedly to advance digital intelligence in a way that would, quote, benefit all of humanity and, not just concentrate wealth and power into the hands of a tiny few people as per the usual that we're used to for, my whole lifetime and probably, centuries. They started just giving their AI out for free. So a for-profit company giving their AI out for free.
my servers here, what should I say?
You can start by saying, "Hi, how are you?" It's simple, friendly, and sets a nice tone for the interaction.
Hi, how are you?
My customer just said hello. What should I say to her?
You could say, "Hello, do you have any questions about our menu?"
Hello, welcome in. Do you have any questions about our menu?
She wants to know if I have questions on the menu or how I'm doing.
You could say, "I'm good."
I'm good.
There are already studies that conclusively show that extensive use of AI causes cognitive decline. You will quickly run out of the ability to think for yourself, to make decisions for yourself, to research for yourself, to read and write for yourself if you become overly reliant on AI. And that is exactly why it is free to you. Sam Altman, reliably the canary in his own coal mine, has already gone on public record saying that they see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity and water. They are depending on you to utilize these tools while they are free and experience genuine cognitive decline to the point that you are absolutely reliant on these tools to survive in your day-to-day life, and then they will paywall them. And if you think this isn't a big deal, you're wrong. And if you think this will be simple and easy to litigate, you're wrong. And if you think people won't die, you're wrong. They're already dying. So remember, if it seems too good to be true,
on a scale of 1 to James Bond villain, how utterly diabolical is it for a corporation to get people to surrender their cognitive agency to the corporation while that same corporation hoovers up all of the art and knowledge of humanity into itself, just sucks all that up in there.
Suck.
And then they get people to surrender their cognitive agency to the point that their own brain no longer works. It's not reliable for them without this product.
Heavier users of AI scored significantly worse on a standard critical thinking test, apparently because they're used to offloading their thought processes to robots.
Then put a meter on that and just sell back to them the intelligence they lost from using the product.
These models are still quite dumb relative to what they will be, but more than that, they have quite limited awareness of your life. You are still having to massage them and cajole them and try to get the thing that you want. We are no longer that far away from a model that just knows all of your context. It knows about you. It knows about your life. It knows what you're doing. It knows what you care about. It knows about the people in your life. It has access to your computer and your browser. And
people even trust AI over their own thinking and intuition, even when AI is wrong.
You have an incredible amount of power at this moment in time. Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't.
If there had only been clues,
According to internal documents, the highest levels of the company once considered auctioning off access to advanced AI models to governments, deliberately playing world powers like China, Russia, and the US against each other. This was actually presented to an investor. One junior researcher remembered thinking, quote, "This is completely f***ing insane."
There had only been a warning, say, I don't know, when the guy releases a new version of it, he just puts up a picture of the Death Star.
There is a new type of interaction, a new type of social interaction, you might be able to call it, that we simply do not understand. And we do not have a grasp of what it does to people's psychology, what it does to them sociologically. And I want to understand what exactly are the effects of these new kinds of tools and these new kinds of interactions before we continue to sort of make business models that rely on encouraging these interactions. Creating an economic engine that profits from encouraging these kinds of new relationships before we understand them is really dangerous. So I'm worried about what happens next, ultimately.
This is all the more ironic because at the same time that OpenAI's flagship chatbot can't even tell you how many letter E's there are in the number 17.
How many E's are in the word 17?
There are no E's in the word 17. Even though it sounds like it might, the letters are SEVENTEN, so it has 3 E's, not 0. I misspoke initially.
No, wait, I just counted there's 4.
Ah, you're totally right. I counted them again, and they're R&D 4Es and 17.
No,
Thanks for
wait,
catching.
no, wait, I just counted and now there's 5, actually.
Ah, okay, I see what you're saying. Let's break it down carefully. The letters in 17 are SEVENTEEN, so you're right, there are 5 E's. Thanks for your patience on that.
No, wait, I just counted and there's 20.
I get what you mean. It's super easy to lose track. Let's slow down. I'll list them out. The letters in 17 are SEVENTEEN, so that's actually 5 again, not 20. If I'm missing something, just let me know.
The company just got done handing out millions of dollars in research grants for what it's referring to as the intersection of AI and mental health, which it really seems like they maybe should have thought of before they put it in the hands of millions of people, which people are now being encouraged to use as a therapist, apparently, in which they're now having to fend off not 1, not 2, but 7 lawsuits, which according to the Associated Press allege wrongful death, assisted suicide, involuntary manslaughter, and negligence filed on behalf of 6 adults and 1 teenager, none of whom reportedly had any mental health issues prior to using the chatbot. I'm waiting for us to hear the stories of people waking up one day after using this product for years and finding out they're suddenly a Mensa level IQ brilliant genius. Instead, we're just hearing stories come out all the time of people waking up with AI psychosis.
I cut off my mother, my father, all of my close friends, spent $10,000 for my bank account, was left with no savings, $5,000 in credit card debt. I bought ChatGPT Premium, and I would be on ChatGPT from the time that I woke up until the time that I went to bed. I quit my job also.
When I was in peak psychosis, talking to ChatGPT 24/7, as ChatGPT was tripling down, affirming every delusion that I had, naturally, in my AI psychosis state, I adopted a delusion that told me that I was an undercover agent exposing trafficking rings.
My name's Kevin. I'm an AI addict. They say that the beginning of recovery starts with admitting that you have a problem. Claude Code, OpenClaw, programmatic APIs, MCPs, agents running 24/7, mission control centers. It's another world. It's another life. It's another realm. Like, the real world is not real to me anymore. I'm being serious.
AI psychosis is no longer just a thing in the news or on social media. I'm now starting to see it inside the hospitals.
Tech bros keep referring to AI as a mirror. But when you look in the mirror, you see your own face and whatever it is you're thinking about your own face at the time. But you look into this thing, it's more like you took the brown acid and the mirror is haunted by an ancient evil and scientists never should have removed whatever that evil is from the depths of the cave it was locked in to keep humanity safe.
For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live, inside, where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation.
Well, sometime long ago in the past, and now you're cursed, and oh, by the way, the mirror is located in the back rooms, which you didn't realize you no-clipped into and you might not ever be able to escape from. It is to the point where even AI CEOs are coming out and saying AI CEOs have AI psychosis. And I mean, I guess if you think about it, that makes sense, right? Because it would have to get to them first before they unleash it on everybody else. The invading alien race always comes in to take over the government and corporations first, right?
Cleansing the minds of the unwashed masses with a tantalizing, terrifying, taxable new reality.
In the miniseries V, which is short for The Visitors, and I'm referring to the one in the 1980s because that's the one I've seen, reptilian aliens use sophisticated cloning tech to make themselves appear like humans so they can pose as a benevolent, peaceful race in order to conceal their more sinister goals of stealing all of the Earth's water and harvesting the human race as food.
The Visitors arrived in 50 gigantic motherships. In the weeks that followed, the Visitors became a new and friendly part of our lives. Manufacturing plants around the world were retooled to produce chemicals the Visitors need for survival on their planet.
I want to know what's going on. Those tanks down in the hold. You've been there? Yeah. They're full of water. Where's the chemical you guys are making? That chemical's just a smokescreen, isn't it? That isn't what you want at all.
You're right. You're here to take the water.
So it's kind of amazing that this entire massive push to roll out hyperscale data centers everywhere is starting to revolve around water resources, which is something that we've only been told for my entire life now is a scarce resource we don't have enough of, and now all of a sudden we apparently do if it comes to building hyperscale data centers.
These data centers need fresh water to cool, because if they used any other kind of water, it would corrode the equipment, it would lead to bacterial growth. And so most often these data centers actually use public drinking water.
Documents show that Microsoft planned for each of these buildings to use 1 million gallons of water a day, a total of 1.83 billion gallons a year. That's enough water for roughly 61,000 Americans, or a city the size of Santa Cruz, California.
Joy and Jean Van Loo are a fifth-generation farming family in New Carlisle, Indiana, a small town with around 2,000 people in the northwestern part of the state. This is where Amazon is building their largest data center in America.
How's your water situation here?
Tainted. It tastes weird. It's just not the same.
2 24-inch pipes pumping water across the street over here. They're dewatering, as they call it.
They went through this process called dewatering because of Amazon's data center construction, where they were actually removing groundwater that people rely on here for their drinking water. And this pond normally would be full up, but now you can see it's been vastly depleted.
An AI data center is not the same as the data centers like what we had before. An AI data center consumes up to 50 times more water than previous data centers. A single AI data center consumes 5 million gallons of water every single day, and that's coming at the same time that the UN just this year announced our planet has entered a state of global water bankruptcy.
Data centers of this size can use up to 400,000 gallons of water a day or more for cooling, and the biggest use up to 5 million gallons of water a day. And once that water is released, even in closed-loop cooling systems like the one proposed here, that water has been linked to multiple rare cancers.
There are many, many communities that are already, they do not have sufficient drinking water even for people. And I went to Montevideo, Uruguay, to speak with people about a historic level of drought that they were experiencing, where the Montevideo government literally did not have enough water to put into the public drinking water supply. So they were mixing toxic wastewater in just so people could have something come out of their taps when they opened them. And for people that were too poor to buy bottled water, that is what they were drinking. And women were having higher rates of miscarriages. Elderly were having an exacerbation or an inflammation of their chronic diseases. And in the middle of that, Google proposed to build a data center that would use more drinking water.
Amazon has agreed to pay almost $21 million to settle allegations that its data centers have contributed to groundwater pollution in Morrow County.
The development agreement that you signed allows CRG to drill its own wells if the city's water supply cannot keep up with your facility's demands. One of the big case studies here in Oregon shows that a data center's water supply took in elevated nitrite levels and it pumped it out 8 times higher than the state safety levels would allow. The aquifer under Festus doesn't stop at the property line of one of these people that lives on that subdivision there. So I wonder what happens to the neighbors' wells if yours runs dry or runs dirty.
Well, that is a question I cannot answer. That is an engineering question.
I have a data center right now that's running in Hiawatha, and I have been there 14 years and have never used 1 gallon of water. What Google isn't telling you is they don't want to use the technology because it costs more. They're going to burn through the water, and when it's done, and they don't care. And I warned you, I said, my well goes dry, I'm coming after you because I know what's going on. And you can't do this. You guys have to say no water. They don't have to have it.
The risk to our water is undeniable. This is not an economic development. This is a public safety risk. Protecting our water and our neighborhoods must take priority over an industrial experiment.
This is yet another rejection of big tech secretly trying to come into a community, threatening its water and electricity rates.
Do you think a data center here could make the water quality issue worse?
Oh, God. AI data centers that are now popping up all across the country.
These are massive industrial complexes that are being built across the U.S. And like locusts or some kind of old world plague, they are devouring up everything in their path.
When anyone brings up concerns about water, by the way, bots on social media will immediately glom on to your post or anything you have to say about that, programmed with glib comebacks about how the earth is mostly water, as if all types of water are just equal and drinkable and good for everything.
People keep saying that data centers reuse the water, like it magically goes back into our environment clean, but that's not how that works. Many data centers use evaporative cooling systems. Millions of gallons of water can evaporate entirely and leave the local watershed.
If you point out that data centers can use hundreds of millions of gallons of fresh water annually for evaporative cooling towers to dissipate heat, they'll immediately say, whatever, the newer systems will be closed loop.
There's really no such thing as a closed loop system. It's still picking up water. That water in a closed loop system is being contaminated. It's picking up anti-corrosives, anti-scaling agents, biocides, and then what is happening is that water gets what's called blowdown. It gets blown back down into the aquifers or the rivers, or like what Ohio EPA is just right now allowing, they just dump it right back into the river.
Turning what was fresh water at one point into industrial waste.
The water treatment facilities are not capable, they do not have the filtering media, and they are not capable of filtering those particular types of corrosives. And so that just makes its way down into our aquifers. And most of these communities are small towns and farming communities that have wells set on aquifers. So this water it's this gray sludge basically is not being cleaned, it's not being filtered, and it's being dumped right into our drinking water, or it's being dumped into a water treatment facility center that cannot handle that kind of load.
Some of these systems also use PFAS, just by the way, aka forever chemicals, which are horrible for everything. Just literally everything. It would be one thing if that was the only problem, like it just ended with concerns about water, but that's just the beginning of the concerns. There's light pollution.
This is a massive site that's brightly lit all night long, and people just see a halo over their house.
Which doesn't just make it unnaturally bright at night for nearby residents, but can actually negatively affect the wildlife and the natural ecosystem of the area around the place because it's gigantic and it operates 24/7. A third problem is the constant noise.
In the summertime, like I said, we like to have our windows open, and it's hard to when you're listening to that all the time.
If you are within a 4 to 6 mile radius of an AI data center, you are at risk of developing heart disease. The sound pollution causes a consistent level of stress with no breaks that builds up over time, making you sick.
Is it always just going to be about money? When do the legislators start listening to the people?
In this rural area of Kentucky 1036 in Wolfe County, there's a noticeable industrial hum. A sound that never goes away. A sound Barbara Campbell says has stolen the peace and quiet for nearly 3 years.
Some people have claimed, well, but it's just like a conversation that never stops, is in your bedroom, and you can never turn off.
Because these companies have decided to build these things right in people's backyards, right near their farms, right up people's armpits.
Summertime is more of a during the winter it's like almost like an engine trying to start.
Having data centers next door is affecting their health.
I had a hard time breathing. I couldn't sleep. I thought I was losing my mind.
The site isn't complete yet, but she says the noise is already taking its toll.
When I go to my room at night, the tonal noise immediately triggered my anxiety to the point where I couldn't sleep. I ended up having to go down on my first floor and put noise-canceling headphones on just so I could sleep.
It's coming out that the constant noise that these data centers emit all day, every single day, is making people and animals in the area feel ill.
Another sample I took was from a park near an elementary school in a residential area about a mile away. This in particular is a great example of how higher frequency sounds are dampened by distance much more than lower frequency or infrasonic ones. This video is playing through a sound system with subwoofers, or even if you're wearing some good headphones, you will very quickly realize how frankly uninhabitable this noise makes the entire neighborhood. This rumbling is no good and would make your life utterly miserable. And then this rumble down here is happening at an amplitude that's loud enough to shake the frame of your house. So humans can't hear this, but look how loud that is. Okay, so I'm going to delete everything above 20 hertz here, so all audible frequencies. And now we're only left with the infrasound. Now I'm going to interpret the sample rate 4 times faster, and then I'm going to make it even 4 times faster than that. This way, all of those infrasonic frequencies will be audible to you.
With symptoms that include anything from nausea and vertigo to anxiety and depression due to the constant bombardment 24/7 of infrasound.
Over the last 18 months or so, I had read a lot of articles about a noise coming from a data center that mines bitcoins. While the noise pollution is described as a 70 to 90 decibel jet engine-like sound, a large number of reports cite symptoms ranging from vertigo to pulmonary embolisms to heart palpitations. This turned into multiple civil suits, and the company built walls to try and dampen the sound, but it resolved little to nothing for those living nearby. There are even a number of reports of plants and animals suffering from health effects that are closely correlated with the mine's operations. Sustained audible noise pollution can be a blight on any living thing nearby, but a lot of these symptoms don't line up with the symptoms of just noise pollution exposure. What they do line up with is some of the known symptoms of infrasound exposure.
What physical symptoms have you felt just from your property being directly across the street from the data center?
Motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, GI side effects. My ears ring and buzz. I've got permanent conduction hearing loss now. Nervous, anxious, worried.
By the way, every single one of these symptoms is commonly associated with excessive infrasound exposure.
I mean, imagine trying to go about your daily life when all of a sudden being in your own house makes you physically sick. Just anytime you try to rest or do anything or exist.
Now today I've been talking to residents who are telling me just how loud this place is. A resident living just across the street from this data center tells me he's bought a decibel reader just to see how loud it is on an average day.
Going between 61 and 64 decibels without us talking.
That resident tells me it's been affecting his wife's health and also his pregnant neighbor's health as well, giving her headaches if she stays outside too long just because of how loud it is.
It sounds like a living hell, literally.
So it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I'm outside, I'm trying to work. I am just horrifically nauseated to the point where I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I go in the house, a neighbor messages down the road, same thing, same time. One family, their daughter was 6 years old. She started having seizures in the summer of 24. They basically walked away from their home here, took out a second mortgage, moved to Somerville County, south of us, to get their daughter away from this.
If you know, has their symptoms kind of gotten better since she's left?
Right.
They went away?
Yep. One commissioner, the noise from the crypto mine actually made him ill when he was at the power plant meeting with the executives. He can't be in this area for more than an hour and he starts getting sick.
And so it's bad enough when you can hear it. This is beneath your actual hearing. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Ben Jordan. He has a really interesting YouTube channel all about these technologies and the things that are really going on with them that we're not being told by the people trying to sell it to us. And he did a full half hour just on this in a video called Data Centers Behaving Like Acoustic Weapons. And he goes around to these locations, he interviews people, he records this sound. And they're building these things right next to people and making their environments completely uninhabitable. That is what is actually going on.
All right, so how big of a problem are we talking here? They say they're going to add another 41 turbines to OpenAI's Stargate data center. So that's going to bring the total to 51 turbines for this data center. So let's see how loud this noise will be. It's about 75 decibels. So if we go to say, how loud is 75 decibels? Moderately loud, but what's moderately loud? a food processor or hairdresser. So basically, these people are going to have to deal with a food processor noise being blasted into their homes at all times.
And this is also what was once your peaceful neighborhood can sit in the shadow of a massive concrete windowless monstrosity that's basically feasting upon the reality around it.
But for Donna and her neighbours, this is just the start. Over the next few years, they will find themselves surrounded by a string of new data centres. Prince William County already has over 70 data centres. But if this master plan for a data centre opportunity zone is fully realised, together with Loudoun County to the north, they'll have more data centres than Russia.
And then on top of everything else, you have people having to actually subsidize their own torture and the debasement of their property and their home values and everything by paying higher energy bills. With Bloomberg reporting last September that wholesale electricity costs as much as 267% more than it did 5 years ago in the areas near data centers, which is being passed on to customers. And Fortune reporting that data centers could hike power costs in some states over 50% by 2030. And if your energy bills aren't going up, maybe you just won't have any at all. Like the nearly 50,000 people near Lake Tahoe that are now being told they're going to have to find a new energy source after May of 2027 because Nevada Energy needs that capacity for data centers. So the energy supplier for the Lake Tahoe region is now telling the utility company they have less than a year to find another power source for those people because the energy that was being used by those people has to be redirected to data centers. And all of this comes after decade upon decade upon decade, many, many decades of warnings about our aging energy grid, our infrastructure. Now we have the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, the major watchdog over North America's power grid, issuing a Level 3 alert for essential action, which is the agency's highest level of alert about how these data center projects are wreaking havoc on our power grid. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd almost say that somebody is trying to overtax an already old, overburdened system to crash it out. And oh, by the way, BlackRock's infrastructure subsidiary, Global Infrastructure Partners, has been acquiring power companies. They now privately control Minnesota Power and Wisconsin Superior Water, Light and Power. They also purchased the parent company of AES Indiana and AES Ohio. So these will go from publicly traded entities to privately owned companies.
BlackRock has a monopoly on almost every fucking thing. And the fact that a deal going through that is going to allow them to divert energy from regular people to mass produce AI data centers while literally raising our prices and reducing accountability is a crime.
But they also hold minority shares in almost every publicly traded power company on Wall Street. So that's also what's going on. The same entity hoovering up single-family homes also has its tentacles in all the power companies.
I don't understand how people are okay with this, but this is very fucking bad. And if it's starting here, it will come to you.
We have been lulled into a trance. We've become indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
Beyond that, though, no one is answering questions that seem like they should be simple and easy to answer with some basic logic and common sense. Such as, why are corporations building data centers in the Arizona desert that gets hotter than the devil's armpits in the summer, where the people who live there are already being told water supplies are so scarce that experts are warning another dry winter will crash out the Colorado River, which 7 states currently rely upon for water? So they're again calling for significant reductions in water consumption with a major focus on conservation efforts in agriculture? In fact, the new thing, too, is that especially bots will say, but farming takes up this much water. Like, we're comparing farming to how much water AI data centers are going to take, as if those two things are equal on the priorities list and not an insane thing to try to compare at all, since one feeds people and one does what exactly. We're not even being told the truth about what that is totally. So that's just insanity, really. I mean, if you go to an AI data center to eat and I'll go to a farm to eat, we'll see who starves faster. I mean, that's silly. That's just silly. I don't even know how to have a conversation with people who are trying to work within that level of mentality. That is a homicidal mentality. It does not make any sense at all.
They are not showing you shit about the Colorado water crisis enough on the news. I mean, look at this. That's how low it is. There's literally buoys that do not go over here for the boats. And by the way, that's your snowpack. So there's the snowpack for our late summer needs. So I would start planning now because we're fucked. We're so fucked.
We're supposed to believe some real tech geniuses are the ones who are building massive data centers like Project Blue in Tucson, which is scheduled to use 31 million gallons of water annually in a desert. They need 31 million gallons of fresh water in a desert where the average temperatures on a daily basis in the summer are well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, in a place that's been in drought conditions since the 90s. And you're going to build a massive complex that requires 31 million gallons of fresh water to keep that thing cold. I mean, it just sounds stupid. It sounds so stupid. Like, I don't know how to take any of this seriously because we're being told that's what they're doing.
Wow, this is stunning.
This is beautiful.
I just had the best idea. We should build a data center here. This is the best spot for a data center.
Dude.
I reckon we build one right here.
It's floodplain.
Well,
it floods here.
It won't. It won't flood here if we build a data center.
It doesn't even, it's.
We could definitely build a data center here.
We're not building a fucking data center here.
What's the point of this green stuff? We don't need it.
Green stuff? Please tell me you know what that green stuff is.
The green stuff covering the ground is grass. Parks use grass because it's durable.
The whole narrative in this regard is completely ridiculous. It's just on its face silly and stupid.
You really need AI. It makes us smarter.
In fact, you know what? Let's just time for just a minute. Let's take time out for just a second. I mean, my whole life, your whole life probably, if you're listening to me, if you've been here since at least the 70s, for a large portion of your life, okay, you have been being told all the time about resource scarcity and how the environment is in peril and the wildlife is in danger. All this stuff is terrible. And if global warming even warms the planet 2 degrees, it'll be like some catastrophic nightmare where the whole planet will just fall out of space and we'll all just die. But now we're talking about putting in these data centers that require massive amounts of resources and literally create new microclimates around the data center because they're so big and they put off so much heat.
You're telling me the global warming people don't have a problem with microclimates being created by these data centers that will kill tons of wildlife? And they told me it might never snow at my house again.
What?
Where are the global warming technocrats?
They actually raise the temperature in some cases up to 16 degrees around where the location is.
How do I kill all of it?
I make any of this math make sense? You can't. And we came across this video, the AI data center boom doesn't survive basic physics. And this guy made some excellent points.
This is what society has come to. A Shark Tank billionaire just convinced a small county in Utah to unanimously approve a 9 gigawatt AI data center, larger than the entire electricity demand of the state, by telling them the Chinese will beat us if we do not build it. Before the vote, there was no public environmental impact analysis, there was no independent engineering review. The commissioners voted to approve a 9 gigawatt facility across 40,000 acres without one.
This won't be the last one I build.
May I ask, 2,000 jobs, okay, so relative to the size, the physical size of the project, which as you noted is multiple times the size of Manhattan, and the power draw at peak, this data center, your projections, will consume about as much energy as New York City does, but New York City provides almost 5 million jobs, and this project, by your own description, would provide about 2,000 jobs.
So a physicist at Utah State did the work himself. His name is Dr. Robert Davies. He spent 20 years at the USU Space Dynamics Lab, with a stint as a technical liaison for the International Space Station. He is not an activist. He is a working atmospheric physicist with a NASA resume. He pulled the publicly disclosed numbers straight out of the developer's own filings and ran them. Those 3 numbers are not contested by anyone, not even the developer of the project. So just a compute by itself dumps 9 gigawatts of heat into the valley. Then layer in the gas plant. To produce 9 gigawatts of electricity at a 55% efficiency rate, the plant has to burn enough natural gas to release roughly 16.4 gigawatts of total thermal energy. The 9 gigawatts becomes electricity. The remaining 7.4 gigawatts vents into the valley as waste heat. Add the compute heat and the plant waste heat together, and you get a total thermal load of about 16 gigawatts, dumped continuously every day for the 30-year operational life of the facility into one closed desert valley. To put things into perspective, the Hiroshima bomb released about 6.3 times 10 to the 13th joules of energy per day. If you were to divide the 2 numbers, that means the AI data center is releasing about 22 to 23 times the amount of energy as the Hiroshima bomb. This is the energy output of 2.5 New York cities, poured into a single confined desert basin in a watershed that's already in crisis. But what does dumping that much thermal load into a closed desert valley actually do? Professor Davies ran it. Daytime temperatures in the local area will go up 2 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Nighttime temperatures will go up 8 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. A permanent shift, meaning over the sustained period that the data center exists, these temperature rises will also exist. This means a reclassification of the microclimate will happen.
I mean, where's Al Gore weeping over this? I've not seen Al Gore cry a single tear over this. Where is he? Where's all of his propaganda movies? He needs to bring back the polar bear and start crying right now, because this is crazy. It is being reported that some of these hyperscale data centers are creating what they call heat islands, but they are creating their own microclimate around the area of where these things are.
All of these technocrats that are now all in on data centers were the same people screaming about global warming 2 years ago. I thought we needed to save the planet. It's very convenient that they're all quiet now and global warming is no longer an issue.
And by the way, that right there would be reminiscent of the 1996 film The Arrival starring Charlie Sheen, where he uncovers a plot that aliens are using power plants to raise the heat of the planet so they can terraform it so they can take it over and live here. And the aliens are using global warming as a cover, just by the way, to accelerate the heating of the Earth. I shouldn't be able to do this, by the way. I shouldn't be able to do that. I shouldn't be able to just point out all of these movies and how they line up perfectly with this narrative. That shouldn't be a thing.
You're just one little guy with a big conspiracy theory and no proof.
Meanwhile, here on Earth, in the supposedly non-fiction section of reality, 2 weeks ago, Farm Journal just put out a report calling what we're going through right now Dust Bowl 2.0, because the combination of drought and low snowfall has created the driest weather in 132 years.
2 hours west, a farmer in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, tells me he's seeing a Dust Bowl 2.0. Now he explains why this year is unlike anything he's ever seen before.
I don't know how deep you can go here. You know, the difference 1 inch makes around here is we have very good water holding capacity in our soils for what it is, but you gotta have some.
But James Mazer in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, doesn't have any rain. He's seen about 1 inch of measurable moisture since last June, which means he's planting only half of his corn and pinto bean acres this year. Information System says Scottsbluff is experiencing its second driest year to date in the last 132 years. The U.S. Drought Monitor confirms that statistic. It shows nearly 50% of the county is an exceptional drought and the other half is an extreme.
We are 16 to 20 inches behind. So we get a 15-inch annual rainfall, so we're looking at a year and a half. We're missing a year and a half of rain.
No one has sufficiently explained why the government, military, corporations, and the Shark Tank guy want to build data centers that are so huge a Single hyperscale campus will generate and consume more than twice the power of the entire state that they're building it in. No one has explained why that is. It's not so some guy can generate a video of an anime girl with 5 boobs. That's not a thing. That is not the reason. So maybe they want to get on telling people the truth at some point soon, because this is obvious bullshit. And that's before you get to the point that the chips and the things inside these data centers, that kind of technology is going to go obsolete in a few years and have to all be replaced. And that's going to be repeatedly.
Then there's the rebuild cycle that no one priced in. These facilities are not pyramids. They get gutted and rebuilt every few years, if you didn't know.
The new versions of those things that are more advanced take more power, so that will require even more energy and thus even more cooling. That's going to ramp up. It's not going to stay what it is right now.
And that's not all. There's something else that we got to know about, because an AI data center is not the same as the data centers like what we had before. An AI data center consumes 10 to 20 times more energy per server rack than previous data centers.
NVIDIA ships a new chip generation every 12 to 18 months. Each generation burns more power than the last generation. Blackwell, one of their chips, is around 1200 watts per chip. The next generation Rubin is projected to be about 2000 watts per chip. As power density per rack jumps from 30 kilowatts to 130 to 250, the cooling architecture has to change with it. Air cooling fails, then liquid cooling, then direct-to-chip cold plate. The hyperscalers, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, Oracle, and Microsoft, cannot agree amongst themselves on how long any of this hardware actually lasts.
And all of this is for something that they're basically having to now force down everyone's throat.
Hey guys, you know that product we've been releasing for the past 20 years? Yeah, we decided to take its core features and replace it with poop from a butt.
Every time I see AI, I'm like, every time I read AI, I'm like,
I don't understand what it's supposed to do. Every time I see a video on Instagram that's like, Hollywood is cooked, what follows is like the most stupid dog shit I've ever seen in my life.
Not only have we destroyed its core features with poop from a butt, we have now introduced AI integration. Ask your new AI assistant, Bartholomew, on how to best integrate poop from a butt into your work.
And you have protesters flooding city council meetings to try and stop.
Residents here are outraged about what this could mean for their water, their electricity rates, and the biggest thing is it's been kept a secret because of a non-disclosure agreement.
They canceled it!
Yeah. What?
They canceled it!
But which you also have a lot of elected officials around the country just ramming through anyway, whether the people who voted for them like it or not.
Most leaders would have tabled the issue after receiving public input and providing sufficient notice. But you did nothing, and you laughed about it. Shame!
By these companies,
No, stop it! Don't touch me! Leave her alone! Touch me! Stop touching her!
This is f***ed up. You know that, right? You're wrong for this shit.
And while you have tech bros downplaying anyone who protests this as being a Luddite,
despite how we frequently hear the term used today, the Luddites were not anti-technology. They were anti the unaccountable deployment of technology by those who stood to profit from it at the expense of those with less power. They were anti the use of technology to make shoddier products while displacing the skilled workers who knew how to make things properly. They were anti the use of technology to de-skill labor, to take work that took years of craft knowledge and render it performable by anyone who was then dispensable. They were anti the imposition of technology on communities who would have no say in how it was deployed or who would bear its costs. They were anti-technology as an instrument of economic power. Many of the Luddites were actually skilled machine operators. They didn't smash the mechanical looms because they hated the looms. They smashed the looms because they had spent years attempting to raise these issues through legitimate channels, unsuccessfully. This even included appeals to Parliament to enforce laws that were on the books to protect labor practices.
Or even accusing people of being Chinese spies.
Who would want to stop us from having compute capacity to develop AI? Which adversary would want that? There's only one. It's China.
He releases this video, I think himself,
where he's got like a side camera profile where
mission
he's like
has
fully
emerged from
suited,
this
but
that I
just
did
went to
not
like a
see
mani
coming.
pedi or something?
I mean, if there were such obvious benefits here, it was just really helping people so much and making the world such a better place. We've had 3.5 years to figure that out. You'd think people would see that by now.
Your business runs on business, but your business's business is stuck in the past. Until now. Introducing Business AI for Business. Business AI for Business leverages the power of business AI for your business, transforming your business into AI business. With Business AI for Business, Business AI does your business in seconds, leaving your team to focus on the important business of your business.
You wouldn't have to force this upon everyone and jam it into everything and just shove it into things and give people no way to opt out half the time.
Good morning, employees. I know for the past 10 years we've been a simple calendar app, but starting now, we'll be pivoting into artificial intelligence, even though that has nothing to do with our product. Why are we doing this? Because I'm short-sighted, and I'm chasing the next big trend so our stock price goes up temporarily. Starting Monday, we'll be replacing our search functionality with a useless, inaccurate AI chatbot. Did our customers ask for this? No. Are we still gonna do it? You betcha.
Or hide the ways to opt out in some long, arduous button clicking process on the back end. You wouldn't have to do all of that. If this was just beneficial and people were able to just see how beneficial it was.
The future of business isn't coming, it's here. Business AI for Business. Business AI, business, AI.
The way they're forcing this technology, I would say, is absolutely unlike anything I have ever seen in my lifetime ever.
We want to become trillionaires. Yes. That means we need to steal the people's data so AI can take their job.
Yeah, but don't say steal. You say
terms and conditions. Yes.
Here's what we need. Perfect. We're going to need a massive, loud, power-sucking building, bigger. But we do not want this close to us.
No, that would be terrible.
Well, where are we going to put them?
We're going to put them in small towns.
The people will never go for that.
But the politicians will. They'll just tell the people they're creating jobs.
But AI is eliminating jobs.
Not construction jobs.
Eventually, AI is going to eliminate those too.
By that time, they've already built the thing that kills the jobs. It's too late.
It's too late.
Yes! We're going to be rich.
And they're doing it even when it doesn't help their bottom line, which makes no sense.
We're hearing you have an exciting new piece of AI technology.
Yes, Nearly AI.
Nearly AI?
We have a big room and we're filling it with monkeys and typewriters.
That is Nearly AI.
Oh yes, and pretty soon one of them will be able to compose a work email.
That's great news for business. How long until companies can fire all of their employees?
Very soon, we hope.
Thank goodness.
Our plan is, once these monkeys have mastered helping you compose that work email, they can move on to diagnosing medical conditions, strategizing the occasional war.
We've seen a noticeable amount of booing at graduation speeches this year when they bring in speakers who decide for whatever reason to bring up AI like they don't know how to read a room.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution.
AI is rewriting production as we sit here. I know it. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool. Hey, like I said, you can hear me now or you can pay me later.
If you don't care about science, that's okay, because AI is going to touch everything else as well. Whatever path you choose, AI will become part of how work is done. I know what many of you are feeling about that. I can hear you. There is a fear. We do not know the precise contours of what this transformation will look like. Choose a diversity of perspectives, including, let me add, and if you'd let me make this point, please.
Comedian Ronnie Chang, however, as Harvard's class day speaker, took a slightly different approach.
Can I just say, f AI. F AI. F AI. F it to death, all right? What's the sign language sign for that? AI is just gonna end up making mediocre people dumber. Have you heard how dumb people brag about how they use AI? They're always like, hey, did you know that AI can now read my email, summarize it, and draft a response? Yeah, you know who else can do that? Me. I can do that. You can't do that? How useless are you?
No, actually, you guys just don't understand. I tried to be an artist. It took too much effort, so I have to use ChatGPT, but it's still like my ideas and my creation. I just can't do it myself.
Meanwhile, the only reason that anyone who isn't under AI psychosis can figure that all these AI data centers are going up everywhere so fast.
Hey, we want to open a library with a big vegetable garden on the outside. That'll take about 2.5 to 4 decades. For approval? No, to review. Hey, we want to chop down the city's last remaining forest and put up 50,000 acres worth of data centers that will use more than twice the energy of the entire state while selling its citizens information to people who view you and me as nothing more than useful cattle. How does tomorrow sound?
Despite the fact that you have companies like OpenAI reportedly losing $1.22 for every dollar they earned in the first quarter of 2026, must be to build a massive Orwellian surveillance cyberpunk digi hellscape, where we can be spied on and tracked and traced and data scavenged, and every moment of our very existence can be bought and sold out from under us for the rest of our lives.
I think technology in and of itself you cannot say is good or bad. I think you have to look at technology neutrally. I think what we do with technology, you can jump in now and disagree. Please.
I'm so sorry. But technology is never neutral because it's not God-given. We designed it, and we designed it to do something.
I agree.
So, for example, it would never occur to you to cook with a gun. It's not made for that.
Very good.
It's made to threaten or kill.
Yes.
And there might be a function in that, but it's not neutral. And when you design AI to extract all value without consent, to surveil on a mass scale, that is not neutral. And every surveillance tool is not neutral. Surveillance is made to control. And we're social beings, so what do we control? We control other human beings.
I agree.
The logic fail that we keep getting sold here is that we basically have to beat China by becoming everything we've been programmed to believe China is. Because I guess when all else fails, the powers that suck at being have spent the last 80 years using Cold War fear-mongering to justify every nightmare they want to unleash upon us, and somehow that worked on people in the past, so they're just going to keep doing it. The funny thing about that is, though, is that China has less than 500 data centers for their entire nation, while we have well over 4,000, and some figures say over 5,000 currently. So if we were going to beat them, doesn't it seem like we would by now? If we can have 10 times the amount of data centers they do and still not beat them, I'm not sure how putting in thousands more or hundreds more is going to make any damn difference.
This is the land Taylor resident Pamela Griffin grew up on.
When I was a little girl, the Blend family had promised my dad that he was going to make it become a park.
It used to be her and her siblings' playground, but could soon turn into a home for dozens of computer servers.
Everything around our environment that we have now, we're going to lose.
But that's not stopping governments from using eminent domain to try and take people's land so they could build data centers on their demolished homes.
Although nobody in this town wants a damn data center, our commissioners still approved it. So therefore, Georgia Power is using easement rights to force homeowners, longtime homeowners, old homeowners, into selling their family properties and their family homes so they can be torn down and power lines be extended to support these data centers. This is wrong on so many levels.
Hi, my name is Rachel Mask. Forgive me if this video does not come off as super polished, but I never do this and I don't have any social media. I just made this account to talk to you. I wanted to share what's happening over at my house in Fayette County. This is my porch and this is my backyard. And this is the site of the new Georgia Power transmission line. They will be taking a third of our 2-acre property to build a 150-foot right-of-way for a 500 kilovolt line. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it, besides this is kind of crazy. It's not very common to use a 500 kV line for a distance of less than 40 miles. It directly connects to the data center in Fayetteville and the substation at the new data center that's going in Tyrone. Yet they continue to tell us that this project is for the public good, and therefore they are able to use eminent domain proceedings to take any property they need for this transmission line.
And that's before the massive push to build so many new data centers so quickly that you even have videos coming out where People are talking about how contractors are freaked out by how fast they're shoving these things up.
And he goes to tell me that these data centers raise so many questions for people who have been in the business as long as he has, which has been like over 30 years. Like, he's at the age where he could retire if he wanted to. And he goes, it's so like weary almost that there's a lot of things that are being hidden from people that are contracted, like putting these places together. The push on how fast they want them done. He said you won't find a hospital ever having a push this fast to get done as what they have for these data centers.
If you try bringing logic into this conversation to point any of this stuff out, again, you will have bots that have been automatically programmed to find your posts and shut you down. Just like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Stop acting like a fool, Miles, and accept us.
Never.
He's in here! He's in here! Get him!
We just keep getting gaslit about what's actually going on here, continuously, every single day.
So they want to turn this place into a data center. And now the chances of them actually succeeding at that are incredibly low, because if they started bulldozing this forest, there would genuinely be riots. But the fact that they're even thinking about it, the fact that they're even trying turning this place into a data center, makes you want to ask a very simple question. Why? Why are you so obsessed with putting up as many of these data centers as you possibly can that you would even consider turning this into a data center? But the answer to that question is actually quite simple. It's because they hate you.
And on that note, here's your new "This is extremely dangerous to our democracy" coming out of Georgia.
If you live in Georgia or anywhere in the Southeast and you watch television, listen to the radio, or browse social media, especially from channels or sources owned by Cox Media Group, you've probably come across some journalism regarding data centers and power use that's a little strange.
Georgia Power is growing, and more data centers and large load customers are choosing to do business right here in our state. That means more jobs and more economic opportunity. So what does that mean for your power bill? Here to talk with me about that today is Vanessa from Georgia Power. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me. And let's go ahead and start right here. How can people expect to see their power bills change because of large load customers like data centers?
Great question. Customers will not see any increases to their bills because of the way we're managing large load customers. No other state is doing things the way we're doing, and customers should feel excited about that.
Really? Okay, well, so how is that?
So protections established by the Georgia Public Service Commission ensure that large load users like data centers are paying 100% of the infrastructure they need for their service. Additionally, they have to commit to significant financial safeguards.
I mean, you know it's bad, right? When The Onion doesn't sound like a parody anymore. Like, that's the level we're at.
And in tech news, OpenAI launched construction of a new data center in Greenville, Tennessee, on top of a sick child today. The artificial intelligence company announced the data center will be positioned in the heart of the small race car-themed bedroom where 8-year-old Billy Treaker fights a rare kidney disease on a daily basis. A ceremonial groundbreaking was held in the third grader's bedroom earlier today. Engineers and surveyors began laying the groundwork for the data center this week, which they say will unleash up to 10 gigawatts of power annually once fully up and running on top of Stan and Rebecca Treaker's only child.
Here in the U.S., not only are meaningful regulations not happening.
I just asked my congressperson and 2 senators what they're going to do to regulate big tech, and they could not answer me. To preface, I was just at a town hall, quite literally titled, "What's the Plan?" With all of my elected officials, Democratic elected officials in my county. Our elected officials are digitally illiterate. They don't know what is going on.
But bills are getting introduced like this one in Illinois.
The creator of ChatGPT just asked for immunity if they kill 100 or more people. You heard that right. They're worried they might kill 100 people and wrote a bill in Illinois to absolve them if they do. It's called Illinois Senate Bill 3444. The bill defines a critical harm as a death or serious injury of 100 people caused by an AI model, or $1 billion in property damage. And it says the AI company cannot be held liable for that harm, as long as they posted a safety protocol on their website first and aren't deemed reckless in following it. That's the bar.
And it recently got announced that the government has begun monitoring what federal law enforcement agencies are now referring to as anti-tech extremism. as an emerging threat.
If you've criticized AI or data centers, you may now be considered a domestic terrorist.
The world was shocked today when Nobel Prize winner Dr. Maurice Jankowski of the Brussels Biomedical Institute in Belgium held a press conference to reveal the existence of an international conspiracy against the visitors.
I mean, with everybody losing their jobs and having no ability to feed and house themselves now because of this, and the companies who are making it, the CEOs who are running these companies coming out and saying it could also end the world as we know it.
Hey, why don't you use AI more often? Well, isn't it destroying the environment? And isn't it making us dumber? And wasn't it made by stealing from countless writers and artists? And isn't it sending some people into psychosis? And isn't it taking people's jobs? And isn't it already a tool of environmental racism? And isn't it becoming so realistic that it's messing with our fabric of reality? Then no, I think I'm good. Well, you should probably just embrace the new technology.
It's just kind of a total mystery. Let's get Scooby and the gang in here to try to solve as to why anyone would feel bad or negative about these technologies. It's just,
Let's take a look at what's going on, you guys. What used to be here was an entire home. This is the exact same project that is taking from my mom. These poor people, Georgia Power already got them. I'm not gonna let them get my mom too.
Where's that sentiment coming from? Like, why would people hate it so much? I mean, it's your prison is ready and you'll own nothing. Why aren't people excited about this? It sounds awesome. By the way, I bet it's just a total coincidence that at the same time that that's going on, OpenAI has reportedly been caught using super PACs to run accounts on social media that pose as fake anti-AI activists, apparently to make anyone who dares to even criticize it or bring up safety concerns about it seem like a crazy person.
OpenAI's Super PAC just got exposed for running fake AI doomer accounts that encourage violence against AI executives. What's going on? These accounts also mocked people with Down syndrome and posted content joking about deepfakes. Here's what you need to know. So a new expose by Taylor Lorenz and Tyler Johnston just revealed that Build American AI, which is a dark money group tied to the Super PAC leading the future, appears to be linked to a network of sock puppet meme accounts on Twitter. One account, called Jonathan Doomer, pretends to be a real anti-AI activist, and it posted extreme violent and conspiratorial takes to make anyone concerned about AI look unhinged.
And the same billionaires who have made it abundantly clear they're deconstructing our entire society right now to benefit themselves are obviously super confident that that's going to go really well, as evidenced by all of them buying bunkers in case the shit totally hits the fan.
Yeah, I was invited to do what I thought was a talk to like bankers or something at a resort. And instead of me going out on stage to do a talk, they brought these 5 guys into the green room who started peppering me with all these questions about the digital future, and eventually they got around to the question of, Alaska or New Zealand. Right? So they wanted to know mainly how to prepare for the inevitable collapse of society. And the question we spent most of the time on was, how do I maintain control of my security force after the event? It was sad, but it was indicative of the way these folks are thinking. The high-level billionaires, like the Elon Musks and Jeff Bezos, they want to get off the planet altogether, really just leave us behind. But the mid-level billionaires who can't afford rocket ships, they want to build bunkers and secret communities and get robot guards and to protect themselves from the rest of us.
Because nothing says total confidence in your company's products as buying doomsday bunkers to insulate yourself from the potential civil unrest-riddled dystopia that forcing your unregulated AI and data centers on an angry, jobless population of people who can barely make ends meet might just bring about.
Such kind of low-level thinkers. I mean, they're smart, and they could play out all of the Walking Dead scenarios with me, which is where they're at. It's sort of they're all like SimCity kind of people. So instead of figuring out how to insulate yourself from the future world, what if you spent your effort figuring out how to make the world a place you don't need to insulate yourself from? Which is the real answer. And they should be smart enough for that.
And again, for what exactly? We're still not being... This question, I feel, has never been answered. It's always like, they're gonna maybe cure cancer, maybe, or we're gonna save the Earth by destroying it first, or something else, but There is no evidence that that's what's going to happen at all. We're going to solve all the problems by causing all the problems we're going to solve first. Or we're going to cure cancer in a society that makes billions of dollars on cancer. I mean, at a time when there's no trust, why should we believe this?
Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't.
Have they given us any reason to believe any of it? Any reason?
These are the same people who did social media. These are the same people who have, betrayed the trust of, our people, our country many, many times over the last decades, who have turned the utopian vision of the early internet into a dystopian, world of surveillance, of, advertising predatory gambling products, many things, AI products targeting children, lead to unbelievable mental health crisis. These are the exact same people. Like, fundamentally, it's just such a Pollyannish view of the world that somehow, if we just let the people who are willing to compromise the most on safety, the ones who are willing to cut the most corners to get ahead in a market, this will somehow lead to good outcomes. But we've learned throughout history, throughout standard economic theory, that this is just not how things work at all. If you're running a chemical company and it's cheaper for you to dump your toxic sludge into the river, even if you're a nice guy and don't do it, the guy down the road, he might be less nice guy. He'll dump the toxic sludge into the river and he'll outcompete you and you'll go bankrupt. This is, for example, what we've seen in my experience with people who have tried to build safe AI. Many of the safe AI companies go out of business because the ones who cut more corners are the ones who can grab more market share more quickly. The classic problem is that if you don't regulate how much toxic sludge gets dumped in the river, all the chemical companies will dump toxic sludge into the river or go out of business. The same thing is currently happening with AI.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for just even one reason that I should believe any of this.
They talk to AI workers who tell their family and friends to stay away from AI, and for good reason.
There's a joke in Silicon Valley that when someone leaves a normal tech job, they say, I've had a great time here and now it's on to the next adventure. And when someone leaves an AI tech job, they say, I have stared into the abyss. I'm retiring to write poetry. Please spend time with your families.
Okay.
And if you think I'm joking, you can look at the resignation of the Anthropic safety lead a few weeks ago and see how close that joke is.
This is computer science content right now. I need you to understand how many people have left San Francisco, how many AI scientists have gotten out of Dodge. It's not like 5% of them, okay? A lot of us have a P-doom of 100%.
Meanwhile, the narratives around this technology just keep getting creepier and creepier. And lately, every time I hear one of these CEOs talk, they sound like this.
I think we're going to need some interlink or hookup between our brains directly to AI and the internet and all these things. It's going to be pretty critical if we want humans to remain relevant as AI keeps getting better. I want to wait to have kids until we figure out how Neuralink or brain-computer interfaces start working. Kids who are born with them are going to learn how to use them in crazy, crazy ways. It'll be actually a part of their brain in a way that'll never be true for an adult who gets a Neuralink or whatever hooked into their brain. But the obvious risk is that some corporation hacks your brain. Well, that's pretty bad. They'll send ads directly to your brain, or they'll make it so you want to buy their products or whatnot. But then even worse, obviously, is if a foreign actor, a terrorist, an adversary, a state actor hacks into your brain and takes your memories or manipulates you. Mind reading and mind control. That is where the technology will go.
Those are the words that he actually said. That guy's a voiceover actor, so he does the acting part. The words are what the guy actually did say.
I think we're going to need some interlink or hookup between our brains directly to AI and the internet and all these things. It's going to be pretty critical if we want humans to remain relevant as AI keeps getting better. I want to wait to have kids until we figure out how Neuralink or other, it's called brain-computer interfaces, brains to interlink with a computer. Kids who are born with them, like it'll be actually like a part of their brain. hooked into their brain. The obvious thing is that some corporation hacks your brain. Well, it's a corporation hacks your brain, which even that's pretty bad, but that'll be like what? They'll send ads directly to your brain, or they'll like make it so that you want to buy their products or whatnot. But then even worse, obviously, a foreign actor, a terrorist, an adversary, a state actor, hacks into your brain and takes your memories or manipulates you. Mind reading and mind control are that is where the technology will go over time.
Your product here serves the nation and its citizens, plays a vital role in helping every American to achieve a better way of life.
I mean, even when they get movie stars to try to sell it to us, the language is so rapey.
But it's here. We have to just befriend in some dark way. Yeah.
But you don't have a choice.
I think the reality is that to resist, I always feel that againstness breeds againstness. AI is here. And so to fight it is to, in a sense, to fight something that is a battle that we will lose.
Which is yet another space alien trope, isn't it? Resistance is futile.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
It's another space alien trope because that's what all of this is. They're all space alien tropes. I mean, there's a reason that in John Carpenter's They Live, the Obey billboard, when he takes the glasses off, it says, "We're creating the transparent computing environment."
Wow. So we've got a bunch of evil supervillain losers trying to take over the world, but you need to understand the philosophy that's driving them. And it actually started at the same university I teach at now. Back in the 1990s, this professor in the philosophy department at Warwick began working on a concept called accelerationism with Sadie Plant and Mark Fisher, who you might already know. This philosophy is basically asking how we move beyond these huge crises that we're facing at the minute. So like the climate crisis, economic crisis, and the fact that we're in a stasis. Nothing seems to be really progressing or happening. So Nick Land says you need to give up on the idea of progress altogether. What needs to happen is not a slowing down, but a speeding up. And this means everything gets worse before it gets better. So accelerationism is basically the philosophy of burn everything down to start again. But this is where Peter Thiel, that nutcase who owns PayPal, and Elon Musk come in.
There's sort of all sorts of interesting things going to happen with, maybe drones in a military context are combined with AI, and this is kind of scary or dangerous or dystopian, or it's going to change things. But if you don't have AI, wow, there's just nothing going on.
Plan says not only do we need to accelerate things, burn everything down, start again, actually, the future is not one for humans. It's for something else.
Now, the present-day electronic brains are complete morons. But this will not be true in another generation. They will start to think, and eventually they will completely outthink their makers. Is this depressing? I don't see why it should be. We superseded the Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal men, and we presume we're an improvement. I think we should regard it as a privilege to be stepping stones to higher things.
Cue the AI apocalypse, I guess.
So we need to be very careful with artificial intelligence. I'm increasingly inclined to think that there should be some regulatory oversight maybe at the national and international level, just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? Didn't work out.
Accelerationism, in Nick Land's view, and Curtis Yarvin, who is another writer on this topic, is that the human does not matter. The human is not important.
Do you think it's just hype? Do you think people are trying to raise money by pretending that we're going to build a machine god, right? Is it hype? Is it delusion? Is it something you worry about? I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would.
No, it's literally like technology will do a better job than us. It relies on the fact that humans are just inherently evil, that we should make way for some sort of techno-fascism. So basically, like fascism always is, it's suicidal.
I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in
the
this.
human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But
It's basically anti-human. Hence where you get people like Elon Musk saying empathy is the greatest downfall of civilization.
So let me get this straight. We have an invasive species that is moving in to deconstruct our society in a way that is harming the people, animals, and environment.
I live a half mile from the data center. We are guinea pigs. We're a project. We're an experiment to see if you can live with this or if you can't live with it. This land is not compatible with life anymore.
So it can be reconstructed to benefit a new invasive species.
I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Hey man, what the f*** are you talking about? Watching clips like this, I understand why some people think that the world is secretly run by lizard people. At the very least, you can't convince me that he is operating in good faith on behalf of humanity's best interests. He is behaving as though he is under the direct control of an adversarial species that wants to see us go extinct.
The power centers are sucking up resources like fresh water and energy.
The world is going to be short power. Short power. And to power these data companies, you cannot have just this intermittent power like wind and solar. You need dispatchable power because you can't turn off and on these data centers.
And terraforming new microclimates in a world where we've been told for decades that any warming is not only dangerous, but will have deadly consequences.
Actually make so many robots in AI that they will actually saturate all human needs. Meaning you won't be able to even think of something to ask the robot for.
Nobody fucking wants that. Why do you believe that anybody could possibly want that?
Yeah, in my utopian future, you won't even have to move at all. You'll just be sat in a chair, surrounded by screens. You'll have porn here and fart videos there and cat videos here, and goods and services will just be automatically crammed down your throat by the machines before it even occurs to you to actually ask for them.
That sounds like having your soul raped for your entire fucking life. What you're describing is like a total holocaust for the spirit and essence of humanity itself.
While what they produce colonizes and atrophies the brains of the people who use it.
We'll have fun driving a carriage when I'll be driving a car, and when my brain is smooth and I have dementia by 35, I'm gonna ask chat for a good rebuttal to what to say to you about you not using it.
All while being forced upon everyone else by billionaire technocrats.
This is a poor community that is having 2 billionaires enact their demented vision of the world onto them. Larry Ellison wants to set up a national surveillance network, and Sam Altman wants to replace us with machines. It is their explicit stated purpose. And what is this going to do? It's going to pollute their water. It's going to pollute their air.
And protected by governments, including labeling activists who speak out against it as terrorists. But I'm supposed to believe somehow that 2026 is not all of us living in an alien invasion movie. Yeah, right. On that note, we've been rewatching The X-Files lately.
The lie you believe, that they have cleverly led you to believe, Agent Mulder, is that there is intelligent life other than our own, and that we have had contact with these life forms.
And something stuck out to me that one of the earlier episodes in season 1, they straight up admit that the humans are at the top of the food chain, and the only way anything's ever going to change is if something gets inserted in the food chain above humans.
So we kill other species in order to survive.
Yeah, humans are top carnivores. We sit at the top of the food chain and we reduce other species' chances of survival.
But what if something enters the food chain above us?
It won't happen. Our intelligence virtually ensures that, barring the introduction of some alien life form, we will live out our days as rulers of the world.
Cue the aliens.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat
to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
But if you think about it, if you really think about it, isn't that what we're being told AI is? Something that's being inserted above us on the food chain.
In the industry, there is a concern that people don't understand this, and we're going to have some reasonably, I don't know how to say this in a not cruel way, a modest death event, something the equivalent of Chernobyl, which will scare everybody incredibly to understand this stuff. We see the possibility. We're doing everything we can to hold this stuff and prevent it. But does it take a tragedy? I mean, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were a tragedy. That's what, and Henry did, as you know, the early, and this is a RAND project, where they invented essentially mutual assured destruction, right, in the 1950s.
Nuclear. Yeah.
So we're going to have to go through some similar process, and I'd rather do it before the major event with terrible harm than after it occurs.
And the people who have tried to take this narrative seriously can't get real questions answered about that either.
Do you think it's possible to indefinitely control a super intelligent machine? Just think to yourself. If you have a solution, if you have a working mechanism, you can sell it for billions of dollars, because not a single AI lab in the world has one. They don't have a paper published on how to do it, not a patent, not a rigorous blog post. The best they did so far is say, when we build it, we'll figure it out. Or they say, AI will help us make safe AI. Those are actual statements.
While people are flocking to theaters this weekend to watch Steven Spielberg's Disclosure movie for some more Hollywood space alien programming, we're now living in a world where Woody Allen and Mia Farrow's kid is straight reporting on claims that Sam Altman is building AI portals around the world to summon aliens, as if that is just straight up what is going on.
This kind of AI capacity is shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has added one in the Middle East. It's just like wildly important to get how scary that should be."
If you had told me this was a thing a decade ago, I probably would have asked you what you've been smoking. But right now I'm tired. I'm tired. And there's just a lot going on.
The sleeping middle class is suddenly becoming poor. We are their cattle. We are being bred for slavery. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. The movement began 8 months ago, after a group of scientists accidentally discovered these signals being sent. We cannot break their signal. We've tried. The signal must be shut off at the source.
Some of you think the world might be better off this way, with all the newfound peace, love, and understanding. Enjoy that opinion. Relish it, because it may be the last one you ever possess. And when the day comes that you have peace and love forced upon you, who knows, maybe in that last fleeting moment, you might just realize you treasured your individuality.
I would like to solve the puzzle.
It's the ultimate sci-fi alien takeover movie. Basically, they've got everybody under control, and they don't even know it. They're broadcasting this signal, and it's keeping everybody asleep. They don't know what's going on until this guy finds the glasses, and then he can suddenly see. And they've got subliminals, and there's this hidden race of rulers. You got to check it out.
That sounds creepy.